should transgender women be allowed to compete in women's sports? Um, just a quick intro. The inclusion of transgender women in women's sport is one of the most contentious and multi-faced issues in contemporary athletics. This debate lies at the intersection of gender identity, fairness, and equity, raising profound questions about how society defines and ensures equal opportunity and competitive integrity in sports. Proponents of allowing transgender women to compete in women's sports argue that these athletes should have the right to participate in a manner consistent with their gender identity. They emphasize that sports are not just about physical competition, but also about fostering inclus- inclusivity, personal growth, and community. Advocates for inclusion point to the significant mental health benefits of sports participation, such as improved self esteem, reduced anxiety, and a sense of belonging. Benefits that are crucial of transgender individuals who often face higher rates of discrimination and mental health challenge. On the other hand, opponents raise concerns about competitive equity. They argue that transgender women may retain physical advantage from male puberty, such as greater muscle mass, bone density, and cardiovascular capacity, which could lead to unfair competition in women's sports. These critics assert that the presence of transgender women in female categories might undermine the intended competitive balance that gender segregation in sports aim to preserve. This article seeks to provide a balanced examination of the advantages and disadvantages associated with transgender women competing in women's sports. By exploring both sides of the debate, we aim to shed light on complexities of this issue and consider how sports organizations can navigate these challenges to create fair and inclusive policies. Advantages of inclusion: equality of human rights. Allowing transgender women to compete in women's sports embodies the principles of equality and non-discrimination that are foundational to modern human rights frameworks. These principles assert that all individuals should have the same opportunities and rights, regardless of their gender identity. Denying transgender women the chance to compete in sports categories that align in their gender identity can be viewed as a form of discrimination which undermines these fundamental human rights. For transgender individuals participating in sports that correspond to their gender identity is a powerful affirmation of their true selves. It allows them to live authentically and fully participate in society without being marginalized. This is particularly important given the significant societal, physical, physiological, and physical challenges that many transgender individuals face. Sports can serve as an inclusive space where their identities are recognized and respected. Legal and social movements worldwide increasingly support the rights of transgender individuals. Many countries and institutions have enacted laws and policies to protect transgender rights in various spheres of life, including healthcare, employment, and education. Including transgender women in women's sport align with these broader legal and societal trends, promoting consistency in how transgender rights are respected across different areas. Including transgender women from women's sports can perpetuate harmful stereotypes and contribute to the stigma and discrimination that transgender individuals often encounter. By allowing transgender women to compete in women's sports, society can take a significant step towards breaking down these barriers and promoting a more inclusive and accepting environment. This not only benefits transgender individuals but also helps foster a more understanding, cohesive society. Inclusion in sports provides transgender women with the opportunity to become role models and visible representatives of their community. Representation in sports can inspire younger transgender individuals and provide them with relatable figures who demonstrate that they too can pursue their passions and achieve success. This visibility can also educate and inform the broader public about transgender issues, promoting empathy and acceptance. Participation in sports has been shown to have numerous mental health benefits, such as improved self-esteem, reduced anxiety, and a sense of community. For transgender women, the ability to compete in alignment with their gender identity can significantly enhance their physiological well-being. It provides a sense of normalcy and belonging that is crucial for their mental health, helping to mitigate their higher rates of mental health issues often found within the transgender community. International human rights instruments such as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Yogyakarta Principle emphasizes the right to participate in cultural life and importance of non-discrimination on the basis of gender identity, allowing transgender women to compete in women's sports through consistent with these principles, reinforcing the global commitment to human rights and equal equality for all those individuals, regardless of their gender identity. By recognizing and, and supporting the inclusion of transgender women in women's sports, societies can uphold the values and equality and human rights, ensuring that all individuals have the opportunity to participate in and benefit from the rich culture and societal experience that sports provide. Mental health and well-being benefits of sports participation. Personal achievement is fostered as individuals set and reach personal goals, leading to a sense of accomplishment and increased self-confidence, developing and mastering new skills further enhances self-perception and belief in one's abilities. Additionally, regular physical activity can improve body image and self-acceptance, which is particularly crucial for transgender individuals who may experience body dysphoria. Participating in sports can reduce anxiety, depression through several beneficial mechanisms. Physical activity releases endorphins, which are natural mood lifters, helping to alleviate symptoms of anxiety and depression. Engaging in sports also serves as a healthy outlet for stress and tension, providing a break from everyday worries and enhancing overall mood. Furthermore, the routine and structure provided by regular sports participation offer stability and predictability, which can be calming and reassuring. Participating in sports can significantly reduce anxiety and depression through various mechanisms. Physical activity releases endorphin, endorphins, which are natural mood lifters, helping to alleviate symptoms of anxiety and depression. Engaging in sports also serves as healthy outlet for stress and tension, providing a break from everyday worries and enhancing overall mood. The routine and structure provided by regular sports participation offer stability and predictability, which can be calming and reasoning. Being part of a sports team fosters a sense of camaraderie, camaraderie and belonging, which can be particularly crucial for transgender women who may face social isolation, offering a critical source of support and friendship. Additionally, sports create opportunities for community engagement, reducing feelings of loneliness and promoting social integration. Working towards shared goals with teammates can further strengthen positive relationships and foster a sense of unity. Participating in sports offers important gender affirmation benefits for transgender women. It allows them to express their true selves in a gender-affirming environment, reinforcing their gender identity. Competing as their identified gender provides validation and recognition, which are crucial for their mental health and self-esteem. Participating in sports helps combat discrimination and stigma for transgender women by increasing their visibility, changing, challenging stereotypes, and promoting understanding, and acceptance within the broader community. Engaging in sports empowers transgender women, helping them feeling strong, capable, and resilient in the face of societal challenges. Participating in sports contributes to holistic well-being for transgender women through various avenues. Regular physical activity offers numerous health benefits, including improved cardiovascular health, strength and endurance, enhancing overall well-being. Additionally, the discipline, focus, and mental toughness developed through sports foster greater mental resilience, equipping individuals to better cope with life's challenge. Diversity and inclusion in sports. Including transgender women in women's sports promotes diversity by ensuring a more diverse representation of different gender identities, helping to reflect the true diversity of society. Transgender athletes can serve as role models for other transgender individuals, demonstrating that it is possible to participate and succeed in sports regardless of gender identity. By participating in sports, transgender women challenge traditional norms and barriers, paving the way for future generations of athletes to compete in a more inclusive environment. Fostering inclusion in sports involves providing equal opportunities for transgender women to compete in women's sports, ensuring fairness and equality alongside cisgender women. Developing and implementing inclusive policies in sports organizations promote a culture of acceptance and respect for all athletes, regardless of gender identity, creating a supportive and welcoming environment where transgender athletes feel valued and enhance their participation and performance, contributing positively to the overall team dynamic. What do you think so far? Comment below. And if you think this is helpful so far, please subscribe so I can continue giving you more content like this, which would be greatly appreciated. And your feedback is important, so I know that this is helpful. And let me know your thoughts. And there's a lot more to talk about. I mean, I have a lot of opinion on this, so let me know what your opinion is. All right, combating transphobia and encouraging broader societal acceptance. Normalizing transgender participation in sports involves two key strategies. For increasing visibility by including transgender women in sports helps to normalize transgender identities, reducing misconceptions, and stereotypes. Second, sports organizations can leverage their platforms to educate athletes, coaches, and the public about transgender issues, fostering understanding and diminishing ignorance and fear. The inclusion of transgender women in sports plays a crucial role in challenging discrimination and driving policy changes that address unequal treatment. As sports organizations adapt to include transgender athletes, they often implement policies that promote fairness and equal treatment, not only within sports but also influencing broader societal norms. Additionally, positive interactions between cisgender athletes, fans, transgender athletes can break down prejudices and foster more inclusive attitudes, creating a more accepting environment both on and off the field. Participating in sports also helps build empathy and understanding by providing opportunities for shared experience and teamwork among athletes for all gender identities. These interactions can cultivate mutual respect and a deeper appreciation of each other's perspectives. Moreover, transgender athletes sharing their personal stories and experiences can illuminate the challenges they face and underscore the importance of acceptance and inclusion, helping others to connect on a personal level and support more inclusive, supporting community. Broader societal impacts. Positive media coverage of transgender athletes can significantly influence public opinion, promoting a more accepting, inclusive society by, by showcasing the achievement and stories by transgender athletes. Media outlets can help normalize transgender athletes and reduce stereotypes. Since sports are deeply embedded in many cultures, changes in sports policies and practice often have broader societal impacts, encouraging more inclusive attitudes and fostering a culture of acceptance beyond the sports arena. Increased acceptance of transgender athletes can inspire broader legal protections against discrimination in various sectors, such as employment, education, and healthcare. As the visibility and acceptance of transgender individuals in sports grow, it often leads to advocacy for more comprehensive anti-discrimination laws. The sports community can leverage its platform to support legislation and initiatives aimed to promoting equality and inclusion, thereby driving positive changes across multiple areas of society. Inclusive sports environments play a key role in strengthening community bonds by upholding values of fairness, respect, and unity. When sports organizations and communities embrace transgender athletes, they foster a supportive atmosphere that benefits everyone, ensuring equal opportunities for transgender individuals in sports contributes to their overall health and well-being. positively impacting society by promoting inclusive and enhancing communal cohesion. I'm just going to take a quick break here for a second. Be right back in the 1 minute. All right, let's get started again. All right, so disadvantages and concerns Biological differences and competitive advantage. One of the primary concerns regarding the inclusion of transgender women in women's sports centers on the potential competitive advantage they may retain due to biological differences, particularly if they have undergone male puberty. Critics argue that transgender women who have experienced male puberty might retain physical attributes such as increased muscle mass, bone density, and cardiovascular capacity, which could potentially provide them with a competitive edge in certain sports. These biological factors are seen as a challenge to ensuring fair competition, raising questions about whether exciting policies adequately address these disparities and balance inclusive with competitive integrity. Let's see, 1 second. So, so if you just joined and you are wondering what's going on here or what this is about should transgender women participate in women's sports. So that's what this podcast is about. Leave your comments below. What do you think? And spread the word around so we can have more comments. Share, share on your platform so we can have more people chatting. Uh, we can have more people ask questions, share their thoughts. Will be greatly appreciated. And let's get going. So, transgender women who have undergone male puberty may retain several physiological advantage even after transitioning. These include increased muscle mass and strength, which can provide a notable edge in strength-based sports. Additionally, higher bone density from male puberty can be advantage in contact sports and activities that demand endurance and resilience. Furthermore, a larger heart and lung capacity developed during male puberty can enhance aerobic performance, offering benefits in endurance sports. Okay. The implications of these retained advantage are significant for fair competition and sports integrity. Critics argued that such physiological differences could lead to unfair competition, placing cisgender women at a disadvantage despite their rigorous training and skills. These perceived or real competitive edge challenges the integrity of gender segregated sports, raising concerns about whether current policies adequately ensure a level playing field. Fairness in competition. Do you feel transgender women playing in women's sports is a fairness competition? Comment below. Yes, no, maybe. What are your thoughts? Okay, I would appreciate it. Thumbs up, hearts, 100%, something. So I know you're here. All right, let's continue. Fairness in competition. The inclusion of transgender women in women's sports raises significant questions about fairness and competitive balance. Concerns revolve around whether transgender women might retain physical advantage from male puberty, such as increased male muscle bone density and cardiovascular capacity, which could impact their performance in strength based contact and endurance sports. These biological factors are seen as potential sources of competitive imbalance, challenging of fairness of gender segregated sports. This situation prompts critical discussions about how to ensure a level playing field while respecting the rights of transgender athletes. Critics worry that the perceived or actual competitive advantage might disadvantage cisgender women, undermining the integrity of women's sports. Addressing these concerns involves evaluating current policies and considering how to balance inclusively with fair competition. Come on, anyone here? Sure you're here. Let's go. Okay, some key points. Gender segregation in sports is intended to create equitable competition by accounting for physio sociological differences between sexes. The inclusion of transgender women challenges this foundation purpose as it raises questions about how well existing criteria such as hormone levels address the complexities of balancing fairness and inclusions. This challenge to the basis of gender segregation highlights concerns about whether current policies adequately ensure competitive integrity. The implications of these issues are substantial. There is a growing need for a thorough review and potential rethinking of policies governing gender inclusion in sports to achieve a fair balance between in- inclusivity and competitive fairness. Additionally, the presence of transgender women in women's sports can affect the moral and perceptions of cisgender female athletes, potentially impacting their views on the fairness of their competition. Policy and implementation of challenges. Creating and enforcing inclusive policies for transgender athletes presents significant challenges. Establishing fair and effective criteria, criteria involves balancing various factors, such as hormone levels, transitioning periods, and physical attributes, ensuring that these criteria are significantly sound and equitably while respecting the rights and identities of all athletes is a complex task. Additionally, implementing and enforcing these policies can be logistically and administratively demanding. Sports organizations must navigate legal and ethical considerations, maintain accurate and confidential records, and address potential disputes. The complexity of these issues require ongoing dialogue, research, and refinement to develop policies that both promote inclusively and uphold competitive fairness. Key points: establishing and enforcing inclusive policies for transgender athletes involves several complexities. Creating scientifically sound criteria for hormone levels, transition periods, and other biological factors requires ongoing research and adaptation to ensure they are both accurate and fair. Ensure that athletes comply with these criteria while preserving their rights and dignity in another challenging aspect. Additionally, developing uniform and standards across different sports, each with unique physical demands and competition levels, adds to the overall complexity. The implications of these challenges are significant. Implementing and monitoring these policies can be resource intentions, necessitation intentions, coordination among sports, organizations, medical professionals, and regulatory bodies. Balancing the rights of transgender athletes with the need for fair competition involves navigating sensitive legal and ethical considerations. As our understanding of transgender health and sports science continues to evolve, policies must remain adaptable and based on latest research to ensure that they stay fairness and effective. Current policies and approaches. International Olympic Committee. The International Olympic Committee has established guidelines that permit transgender women to compete in women's events provided that they have maintained a testosterone level below 10 nanomoles per liter for at least 12 months period prior to competition. This policy is based on the assumption that the testosterone levels significantly impact athletic performance, with the aim of creating a more equitable playing field. The International Olympic Committee approach highlights an effort to balance inclusively with competitive fairness. I just want to add, if any of you saw that boxing competition between that Algeria transgender and that Italian, what do you all think about that competition boxing match? Now, the she was told, the Italian boxer, she was told that she was a transgender, not to accept that match. So unfortunately, she still continued and still challenged this biological transgender and started the fight. And apparently, after 46 seconds, she wasn't able to continue, and she just didn't uh, wanted to continue anymore and refused to continue because of the fact that the punches was harder than expected. Um, but it should have never happened, or was that transgender uh, female, um, that she had the right to participate in the match? What are your thoughts on that particular match? And that was the only one that I was able to watch over and over and over. I wasn't. Um, I didn't pay attention to any other ones. I know there were several other ones that transgender females um, were involved in the this Olympics in France. But what are your thoughts? Comment below, and let's have a discussion on that. All right. These regulations are subject to ongoing review and adjustment, reflecting on the International Olympics Committee recognition of the evolving nature of science, evidence, and societal perspectives on gender. The adaptability of the policy demonstrates a commitment to staying current with advantage in sports science and the experience of athletes, ensuring that regulations remain fair and relevant. Hold on one second. National Collegiate Athletic Association. The NCAA mandates that transgender women must complete 1 year of testosterone suppression treatment before becoming eligible to compete in women's sport. This requirement aims to ensure a level of fairness by addressing the potential physiological advantage that may arise from the testosterone exposure. The NCAA supports compliance by working with individual colleges and universities, which involves medical documentation and periodic reviews to verify adherence to this policy. The implications of this policy are significant. By providing a standardized approach for college and universities, the NCAA ensures a degree of uniformity across collegiate sports, which helps maintain consistency in eligibility criteria. Additionally, the 1 year requirement reflects a balanced consideration of both competitive fairness and the medical physiological aspects of the gender transition, offering a supportive framework that acknowledges the complexities involved in the nation. Policies governing bodies. Policies among national governing bodies for transgender athletes vary widely, reflecting among national reflecting the diverse nature of the sports they govern, the competitive levels they oversee, and regional culture attitudes. For instance, some national government bodies might implement stricter guidelines such as longer periods of testosterone suppression or additional phys- physiological assessments to address potential competitive advantage. Conversely, other national governed bodies may adopt more lenient policies, prioritizing inclusively over stringent physi- phy- phy- sociological criteria. The implications of this variability are significant. Different sports have unique physical demands and competitive structure, which necessitates tailored policy approaches that address these specific needs. The lack of unified policy across all sports can lead a confusion and inconsistency, particularly athletes who participate in multiple sports or compete at various levels. While the flexibility and autonomy of national governed bodies enable them to create rules and suitable for their sports context. It also underscores the need for ongoing dialogue and potential efforts towards harmonizing policies to ensure fairness and clarity. All right, it's growing. I see there's more people here. I like it. All right, so if you're here, if you wanna make any comments, appreciate it. If you wanna say hello, by all means, say hi. Or say something. Say a question, say hello. All right, where did I leave off? Common considerations and challenges. Spread the word around. Um, will be greatly appreciated. The inclusion of transgender women in sports raises complex questions involving hormone levels, transitioning periods and policies, implementation. Or if you just got in here, uh, we're talking about should transgender women be playing, be playing, um, participate in women's sports. What are your thoughts? Comment below. What are your thoughts? Should they? Should they not? Comment below. Appreciate it. There is ongoing debate in the scientific community about the impact of hormone levels, particularly testosterone, on athletic performance. This debate centers on whether current testosterone or hormone levels are appreciated and how they balance competitive fairness and with the right of transgender athletes to compete. Ensuring equity and fairness while upholding the rights of these athletes remain a central challenge. The implementation of enforcement of policies require robust monitoring mechanism which can be resource intensive. It is essential to ensure that policies are enforced in a way that respects the privacy and confidentiality of transgender athletes, avoiding stigmatization or discrimination. Additionally, policies must be adapted to new scientific evidence and evolving social attitudes towards gender inclusions. Engaging with athletes, medical professional, and advocacy groups is crucial to developing policies that are informed, effective, and respectful to all participants. Scientific perspectives. The effectiveness of hormone therapy in leveling the playing field for transgender women in sports is a subject of considerable debate and ongoing research. Studies supporting hormone therapy indicate that testosterone suppression can significantly reduce physical advantage from male puberty. These studies showed that after a year or more of hormone therapy, transgender women often experience decrease in muscle mass, strength, bone density, and cardiovascular capacity, potentially bringing their physical attributes more in line with those cisgender women in many sports contests. This, this reduction can help in addressing some of the concerns about competitive fairness. However, other studies suggest that hom- hor- hormone therapy may not completely eliminate all physical advantage. For instance, certain traits like skeletal structure, muscle fiber distribution, and lung capacity might not be fully migrated by hormone therapy alone. Research focusing on specific sports has found that transgender women may continue to perform at higher levels than cisgender women in certain contexts despite undergoing hormone therapy. This ongoing disparity highlights the complexity of addressing fairness in sports. The complexity of human physiology adds another layer to this discussion. Individuals' responses to hormone therapy can vary widely, making it challenging to create universal guidelines. Additionally, the demands of different sports, whether they prioritize strength, endurance, speed, or skills, can influence how hormone therapy impacts performance. This variability underscores the need for nuances and sport-specific approach when developing policies for transgender athletes. Multi-faced nature of the issue. The inclusion of transgender women in women's sports raises important questions about fairness and competitive integrity. A key concern in ensuring that all athletes compete on a level playing field, a fundamental principle of sports. The presence of transgender women, particularly those who may retain certain physical advantage from male puberty, challenges the competitive balance traditionally sought in gender segregated sports. Policies must perform strive to reconcile these potential advantages with the rights to transgender women to compete according to their gender identity, ensuring that fairness is upheld while respecting individual identities. At the same time, there is a strong emphasis in equality and inclusion within sports. Transgender athletes have a fundamental right to participate in sports consistent with their gender identity, and excluding them can result in discrimination and social exclusion. Creating an exclusion environmental not only fosters diversity but also helps combat prejudice and stigma against transgender individuals. By promoting an inclusive sports culture, organizations can support the broader human rights of athletes and work towards a more accepting and equitable society. Policy implications. Developing effective policies for the inclusion of transgender athletes in sports requires an evidence-based approach grounded in the latest scientific research. These policies must be evidence-based approach grounded in the latest scientific research. These policies must be adaptable to new findings, reflecting ongoing advancements in understanding human physiology and athletic performance. Given the diversity of sports and complexities involved, a uniform policy may not be practical. Instead, policies need to be sport-specific and flexible, accounting for unique physical demands and competitive structure of different sports. This ensures that eligibility criteria are relevant, fair across various contexts. Additionally, nuanced approach of policy development are essential. Individual assessments may be necessary to determine fair competitive eligibility rather than relying solely on broad hormone level criteria. Such assessments can offer a more tailored evaluation of each athlete's specific situation, ensuring that policies are equitable and effective. Contextual considerations are also important, as each sport has distinct physical requirements and competitive dynamics. By integrating these considerations into policy making, sports organizations can better address the challenges of fairness inclusion, creating a more balanced and respectful competitive environment for all athletes. Ongoing dialogue and collaboration. Effective policy development for inclusion of transgender athletes in sports necessitates extensive stakeholder engaging. Input from both transgender and cisgender athletes is crucial, as their first-hand experience provide invaluable insights into how policies affect fairness and inclusivity. Sports organizations and governing bodies must also collaborate closely with policymakers to ensure that policies are grounded in the most current research and best practices. Equally important is the involvement of the medical scientific community. Ongoing partnership with medical professionals and researchers are essential for understanding the effects of hormone therapy and for establishing standards that uphold com- competition. In addition to stakeholder engagement, Continuous research is vital for developing and refining these policies. Longitudinal studies are needed to assess the long-term impacts of hormone therapy on athletic performance, helping to ensure that policies remain relevant and effective over time. Interdisciplinary research integrating fields such as endo- endocrinology, sports science, and sociology can provide a more comprehensive understanding of the complex issues involved. By combining these approaches, sports organizations can better navigate the challenges of fairness and inclusion, fostering a competitive environment that respects and supports all athletes. Effective policy development of the inclusion of transgender athletes in the sports requires a multi-phased approach that emphasizes extends stakeholder engagement, input from both perspectives, and how policies impact fairness and inclusivity. Engaging with athletes help ensure that policies are practical and sensitivity to the needs of those directly affected. Sports organizations and governing bodies must also work closely with policymakers to ensure that policies are based on the latest research and best policies practices reflecting a commitment to both fairness and scientific integrity. Equally important is the involvement of the medical and scientific community in shaping these policies. Ongoing collaboration with medical professionals and researchers is essential for a comprehensive understanding of the effect of hormone therapy and other factors influencing athletic performance. This partnership helps establish standards and not only uphold fair competition but also respects the health and well-being of all athletes. By integrating exercise expertise from various fields, sports organizations can create policies that are both evidence-based and respectful of athletes' rights. Continuous research is critical to the ongoing refinement of policies related to transgender athletes. Longitudinal studies are necessary to evaluate the long-term effect of hormone therapy on performance to ensure that policies adapt to emerging scientific findings. Such research provides valuable data that can inform policy adjustments, helping to maintain a balance between fairness and inclusion. The dynamic nature of both science and sports necessitates that policies evolve in respect to the new information, ensuring they remain effective and equitable. Interdisciplinary research is also crucial for holistic understanding of the issue at play. Integrating insights from endocrinology, sports science, and sociology can offer a comprehensive view of how hormone therapy and other factors affect athletic performance and competition. By combining knowledge from these diverse fields, sports organizations can develop more nuanced policies that address the complexity interplay of biology, psychological, and social factors. This approach helps create competitive environment that supports and respects the diverse needs of all athletes, fostering fairness and inclusion in sports. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. The idea of transgender women competing against other transgender women. Potential benefits. The idea of creating a separate category for transgender women in sports carries both potential benefits and drawbacks. I don't see why not. What do you think? Think that's a good idea? Well, the idea of creating a separate category for transgender women in sports carries both potential benefits and drawbacks. On one hand, such a category could promote a sense of fairness by ensuring that transgender athletes compete against others who have undergone similar physiological changes due to hormone therapy. This approach might reduce the scrutiny and criticism from those who argue that transgender women have an unfair advantage over cisgender women, thereby mitigating media public backlash by providing a designated space for transgender athletes. The policy could offer a more level playing field, addressing concerns about competitive integrity. Moreover, a separate category might foster a supportive environment where transgender athletes can compete without facing stigma or backlash. This could enhance a sense of community and mutual support among transgender athletes, creating a space where they can share experience and challenges. Such an environment might especially valuable for athletes who have historically faced discrimination or exclusion, providing them with a network or peers who understand their experience and can offer encouragement and solidarity. However, there are potential drawbacks to consider. Grouping transgender women into a separate category could reinforce the perception that they are fundamentally different from cisgender women, which might undermine their gender identity and sense of belonging in the broader category of women's sport. This segregation could be counterproductive to the broader goals of equality and inclusion, as this emphasizes difference rather than promoting integration and acceptance within the existing framework of women's sports. Additionally, the impact on rec- recognition and achievement could be significant. Transgender women who excel in their sports might feel restricted by competing in a smaller pool of competitors, which could limit their opportunities for broader recognition and accolades. There is also a risk of competing in a separate category might be viewed as less prestigious, potential diminishing the value of their accomplishment in the eyes of the public and within the sports. So, hold on, let me read this again. Let me read this again. Additionally, the impact of recognition and achievement could be significant. Transgender women who excel in their sports might feel restricted by competing in a smaller pool of competitors, which could limit their opportunities for broader recognition and accolades. There is also a risk that competing in a separate category might be viewed as less pres- prestigious, potentially diminishing the value of their accomplishment in the eyes of the public within the sports of community. Hmm. Yeah, I don't want to go there. I sure don't want to go there. You want to go there? You comment below. To, to address these complex issues, ongoing engagement and research are essential. Sports organizations and governing bodies should actively involve transgender athletes to gain a deeper understanding of their experiences, needs, perspectives. Continuous research is also crucial to inform policy development and ensuring that policies remain evidence based on responsive to new science finding and social dynamics. Oh, I just want to check something. Oh boy. All right, sorry about that. Refining policies require a careful balance between fairness, inclusion, and competitive integrity. Policies should consider the unique physiological aspects of transgender athletes while also striving for broader integration and equality. Recognizing the diversity of athletic disciplines and individuals' variability in responses of hormone therapy, policies should be flexible and adaptable to different sports complex to ensure to all athletes can compete with dignity and respect. Why isn't there a separate category for Transgender athletes in sports. Creating a separate category for transgender athletes presents several challenges. They might be carefully considered. One significant issue is the small number of transgender athletes participating in sports. This relatively small population could result in insufficient numbers to form competitive leagues or events, potentially limiting their opportunities to compete and develop their skills. A lack of sufficient participants might hinder the growth of competitive transgender sports and limit the developmental opportunities for athletes in these categories. Another important consideration is the broader goal of inclusion and integration. Advo- Advocates for transgender rights often push for full integration into all areas of society, including sports. Establishing separate categories could reinforce the notion that transgender individuals are inherently different and should be treated separately. This approach might be seen as counterproductive to the objectives of equality and inclusion, which aims to integrate all individuals into existing structures without segregation. The complexity and feasibility of creating separate categories also present logistical and administrative challenges. Establishing and managing these categories involves significant effort, including determining eligibility criteria, ensuring fair competitive, and allocating additional resources. For many sports organizations and complexity and resources demands associated with separate categories may outweigh and potential benefits, making it impractical to implement and sustain such policies effectively. Additionally, the creation of separate categories might inadvertently lead to increased stigmatization of transgender athletes by distinguishing them from cisgender athletes. Separate categories could reinforce negative stereotypes and further marginalize transgender individuals within the broader athletic community. This could exa- exacerbate feelings of isolation and discrimination rather than fostering an inclusive environment. Lastly, the lack of scientific consensus of how to categorize athletes in a manner that balances fairness and inclusion complicates the issue. The physiological diversity among athletes, including differences in hormone levels, muscle mass, and other factors, adds the complexity. There is no clear evidence There is no clear scientific agreement on the most effective way to address these differences, and creating separate categories might not fully resolve the complexities of ensuring fair competition given the varying impacts of hormone therapy and other physical differences. The idea of transgender women competing against other transgender women brings both potential benefits and drawbacks. While other while while it might offer a sense of fairness and community, it might also be seen exclusionary and counterproductive to the broader goals of inclusion and acceptance. Transgender athletes' perspectives are diverse and multifaceted, and any approach to their inclusion in sports should consider their voices and experiences to create policies that respect and support their identities and aspirations. Policy development in their area requires ongoing dialogues, research, and collaboration among athletes, policymakers, and scientific community to ensure that policies are fair, inclusive, and scientifically sound. The reasons for not widely adopting separate categories for transgender athletes include small population sizes, goals and integration and inclusions, logistical complexities, potential stigmatization, and the lack of scientific consensus. Balancing these considerations is crucial for fostering an equitable sporting environment for our athletes. I still got quite a bit to go. I might make this into a two-part, depending on how this first part does. If it does well, then I do a second part. So I want to know how you guys, how everyone thinks, depending on your feedback. And let's see if you guys feel that this was productive, wasted time, if these guys get a better understanding, if transgender females should participate in women's sport. Um, Maybe this is a better understanding, maybe not. What do you guys think? So I'm going to stop here. Um there's still a little bit more to go. Um, okay. So wait for your feedback and see how well that does. Then I'll see if I should do another part two and continue on. All right. Thank you all for participating and see you shortly.